Hmm? Ah!
You're listening to the Run for Your Lives podcast.
Hey everyone, welcome to the show. I'm Daphne.
And I'm Pake.
And this is the Run for Your Lives podcast.
This episode, we are talking about the Australian horror film Bring Her Back, directed by Danny and Michael Philippou and released May 29th, 2025.
Yes! When you suggested this movie, I didn't really give it a lot of thought until I was putting things together, and I realized we didn't cover Talk to Me, which is their first movie.
Yeah, and I haven't seen it yet either. And so, yeah, that was one that I was like, I've heard good things about, but was just like, I hadn't gotten around to, hadn't watched. And then before I even finished this one, no, I definitely was like, yeah, I really want to go back and watch that one now. And now that I have a taste of like their flavor of horror and what they're doing, I like it. And I really want to see what they did with that movie.
Yeah, they're definitely one of my favorite, like, up-and-coming director duos. I believe they're twins.
Yeah, they're twin brothers. Directing duos have become, like, a lot more of a big thing. Like, we have, the Philippou twins, the brothers here. But then also there's Radio Silence, which did Ready or Not and Abigail. And so we've covered. And then the Daniels have been doing other stuff. Swiss Army Man and Everything Everywhere All at Once and stuff like that. So, like, it's become a lot more of just a thing of like having really cool director duos.
Yeah, I like it. Because I think sometimes if you pool your resources, especially brain power, you can come up with some pretty creative and fun things. As witnessed by this movie that we're covering and the movies by the directors you mentioned.
Yeah. Now, I chose this movie this week. And did I choose it for one small reason that's completely unrelated to the actual movie, but it is a small connection to another thing that I like and Daphne might find kind of cool? Yes. Which is that one of the directors, one of these brothers, Michael Philippou, was recently, and as recent as on September 20th, was a participant in an exploding barbed wire rope death match in Mexico.
Yes!
I have seen the video of him taking a fall off of a high platform through a pane of glass and landing in a barbed wire net. It's insane. He is not a wrestler. He did it as very interactive research because a upcoming project from the twin brothers here, Danny and Michael, is they are working on a documentary about the world of deathmatch wrestling. And I'm very intrigued when I'm excited because I will watch deathmatch stuff from time to time and I've seen some absolutely insane shit. So yeah,
okay, that's amazing.
This movie, I was like, I don't know anything about this, but like that little tidbit of info that I came across was enough for me to say, hey, let's do this one solely so I could talk about the deathmatch thing.
As wrestling fans, it is always fun when we get to talk about wrestling or nerd out a little bit about it when we're doing this. When we did Dark Match, we had so much fun.
Right.
So I love when you get to bring up wrestling because it's just cool.
Yeah, it's just any excuse because literally, because I'm like in the wrestling world, I'm like looking at stuff. So like I'd come across the video of Michael Philippou taking that insane bump and just doing that. And I was like, it's like, oh, it's the director of Bring Her Back and he's doing this. And I was like, all right, I want to talk about that with Daphne. So we're going to cover that movie so I have an excuse.
I love it. I mean, we would have talked about it anyway, not on a podcast, but I love it even more that we're talking about it on the episode. Now I feel like we should let's throw out a net and see if we could get them on to talk about movies, directing. And then we could talk about that too.
There you go.
And maybe they'll come up with an idea to do a wrestling.
Yeah. They're probably not busy at all. So it probably
not at all. No. We should be able to get them. And the time difference, what time difference? Actually, I think they moved to LA, so they live in
might not be
the
too bad.
continental U.S. Yeah. I think we can handle a couple hours. So I had not even seen a trailer for this one. I knew nothing about what it was about in any way. But I did see Talk to Me. I liked it. It's on our list to cover. Mm-hmm. But we skipped over it to talk about this one. So I'm totally down with that, especially after watching it. Let's go ahead and break this down. We'll start the way that we always do by going through some production notes. It was filmed in Adelaide and Lights View in Australia. It's their second film. They are known online on YouTube as Raka Raka, so you can find them on there in a whole bunch of videos. They're popular, super popular. We will be covering Talk to Me at some point because it does fit in the genres that we cover on this podcast. Danny wrote the film with Bill Hinsman. The budget was $15 million. It grossed $39.1 million at the box office. It was 104 minutes long. Pake, give us that synopsis.
Right. A brother and sister uncover a terrifying ritual at the secluded home of their new foster mother.
Oh, man.
Short, sweet, to the point, not giving away too much.
Yeah. I had all the emotions when watching this one. Rage at one point.
Yeah. All the emotions, honestly, is a good way to put it, because it really did. Like, there was relief at some things. There was absolute, like, fear and dread about some things. There was, points where I was just, like, so mad and so upset with what was going on. Disgust, sadness. And then, strangely enough, you wouldn't think as heavy and dark as this movie is, there's a couple of jokes in my notes too, because like there were a few moments of levity that like I could like kind of play off of and notice. Like they made sure to give a couple of little funny moments, very brief and very sparse, but they're there. They got to make sure to make you laugh and like feel good just a little bit before they absolutely tear you down again for the next scene. So,
You know, there's one scene that happens in this movie that I think the only movie scene that pissed me off more, maybe two movie scenes that pissed me off more. One of them was the baseball player death that we saw.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the Brachiosaurus death on Fallen Kingdom. Man, I was
and I
enraged.
Really can't decide which one's more upsetting. It's CGI dinosaur or Jacob Tremblay. I don't know.
No, Jacob Tremblay 100% was, yeah. That is still
it's rough.
on lists.
It's rough.
Yeah, it's on lists all the time. I see on Facebook it pops up and says, character deaths that broke people. I'm like, yep, sure. And there's the picture. I'm like, I don't need to be reminded.
It is my favorite Stephen King adaptation film. And I love watching it from time to time. It's one that I can go back to because I love it so much. And then I get to that scene and then I remember, oh, that's why I can't rewatch this even more, because then I have to go through this. And I don't like that.
Yeah, Doctor Sleep is a movie that definitely was so fantastically done, but totally ripped my heart out. And I think I've watched it maybe 3 times at the most. And I can't revisit it. It just breaks me.
Yeah. It is one I did go see it opening night in theaters when it came out. And that was magical. So magical. And I know we've covered it, so we've talked about it, so we don't need to rehash it. But it was...
Yeah.
That first dun, 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 and you're just like, okay, yep, here we go.
Yep. It takes you right in. Everything about that movie just pulls you in. Dr. Sleep was our favorite movie from season 7 when we did our RFYL Awards. Rose the Hat got the biggest threat.
Yeah.
Not surprising, really.
Yeah. Speaking of that scene, it's like, I think that clinched it for her right there.
Yeah. That was horrendous. And so, yes, there's something in this movie that, while not as horrendous as that, really brought out the negative feelings in me.
Mm-hmm.
I was very angry.
I have a feeling I know exactly what you were talking about, because I usually don't try to use these words in notes or on a podcast, but legitimately I was like, there's no other way for me to say this in my notes other than fuck this bitch. Like,
yeah. Yep.
So I think I know exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. I wrote fuck you and said that I know we're only a few episodes into this season, and already Laura is my most hated villain. For sure. Hands down.
It's going to be a tough contender, for sure.
It is. Oh my God. Ooh. Like, all villains from now and before go up against her. For what? I mean, man, just incredibly rough. Before we dive into discussing the movie, which we will do, I wanted to say a couple things. One, I really like the soundtrack. The music was really good. I can't praise the cast enough. Sally Hawkins, we've seen her in a couple of movies that we've covered on this podcast, including Godzilla, King of the Monsters. She was Elisa in The Shape of Water, and what a difference.
Yeah.
So for me, this movie was Skeleton Key meets Drag Me to Hell meets The Visit. Mm-hmm. All for different reasons, just the vibes at different times, what I was trying to figure out as the movie went on, because I wasn't sure. And
only
the answers
one of those
we got.
I've seen, so
which one have you seen?
Yes.
Drag Me to Hell.
No, Skeleton Key.
Really? I would have not picked that one. But you can understand why I think Skeleton Key.
Well, it's very turn of the screw, and so
true.
It was after covering Bly Manor that I was like looking for more stuff like that.
Okay, that makes perfect sense now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I did not like Drag Me to Hell. Chris gives me a hard time about it. But I didn't like it for multiple reasons that I am not going to get into. I just did not like it. But there were pieces of each of those movies that I felt in this one. They just reminded me of those films, like scenes and situations and storyline.
Yeah. I guess because they could be in like character notes as we go through them, but while we're talking casting, throw it together. Because Sally Hawkins, holy shit, what a performance. Like, I didn't even recognize it as her until so late in the movie, where I'm like looking on IMDb and be like, oh my God, that is. Yeah, that's holy cow. Also, what an amazing film debut for Sora Wong.
Oh my God. Incredible. Man. Incredible. I did not realize until I was putting some things together for like notes and discussion that this was absolutely her first role.
Yeah.
She nailed it.
Killed it. It was so good. Piper
as a character was refreshing and bratty and like a badass at the same time. Like, I couldn't. Yeah, I can't say she's one or the other. She's just such a good mix of everything.
Yeah. What a debut. And then I think the other scene stealer of this movie, I mean, they all had incredible things. But
definitely.
But Ollie, a.k.a. spoiler alert, why are you watching? Listening if you haven't watched Connor Bird. Played by the amazing Jonah Wren Phillips. And I had to mention him because I've seen him and podcasted on a performance of his once before.
You have?
Yeah, not on this podcast, but on another one. Some people might remember him as quite a lovable character in season 3 of Sweet Tooth by the name of Theo.
Oh, Theo. Theo. That's adorable.
And
adorable.
And I immediately recognized him even without the long hair, but I was just like, holy cow. And then that's why it like was just so much of like a mind fuck to then watch this movie and go like, it is absolutely wild to see Jonah to see him after the last character that I saw him play was so adorably sweet in every way, and now he's a literal horrifying demon monster, and it's like, kid's got range. All right. Like, good.
Yeah. Really, hats off to the casting department for what they did with this movie. I mean, it was incredibly well cast, and fantastic. Whatever the Philippous do, I'm going to be interested in.
Yeah, I mean, this was the first foray into it for me. I will go back and watch Talk to Me, either on my own or when we get to it.
Yeah.
And then I think I'm on the same as you. It's like, if I really like that, which I have a feeling I will, I'm going to be like, all right, these are going to be some guys that I'm just going to keep tabs on in any movie that they do. I'm like, all right, I'm in. Let's go.
Well, they're doing that documentary, so... Yeah,
they got the Deathmatch documentary, and Talk to Me 2 is in production right now, so...
I'm interested in how they're going to make that happen. I think... Yeah, I'm not going to give anything away. So, interesting thing with this movie, as we open it up to talk through it like we do with characters, is you would think that Andy and Piper were the main characters, which, I mean, they are. But Laura, I had so many notes about her.
Yeah, by far the majority of the notes are about Laura. So I was like, if we go in our order we usually would, and we started with Andy and went to Piper, I'd be like, all right, here's like a thing from the beginning, a couple things from the middle and the very end, and then it's like I can literally count 9 notes about Andy and 6 about Piper. Mm-hmm. Like, they're very quick, and then Laura, it's like scroll. Like, I've got so much.
So I think, and I mean, honestly, I didn't even put Laura on the list of characters for the breakdown. So, but often I do that before I've seen the movie. So I just kind of look and see who the top listed ones are. Mm-hmm. I think we
try to be careful with movies you haven't seen, because sometimes they build them by when they show up in the movie versus how prominent they are. So then you get like the 2 people that showed up in the first scene and then died, and then you never see them again.
Yep. So I think we switch it up and we just start off with Laura. Let's talk through it with Laura being the main character. I think we do have to say that Andy and Piper, brother and sister, end up with Laura.
Yeah. And again, who cares about chronology? Hopefully you've watched the movie already before listening, so you know what's happened. We don't have to recap things for you and make sure you know, oh, where are we? I'm lost. Like, hopefully you've seen it. So if we bounce around a bunch, then that's okay. It's like a pogo party. We can bounce all over the place.
I do love a good pogo party.
Do you? Do you really? Mm-hmm. I don't know if I would ever do that. This sounds like it would be exhausting after like
I
3
don't
minutes.
Prefer to ride on the pogo stick. Just
feels like I'd be winded after 3 minutes and be like, this was a great idea on paper and now I hate it.
Yeah, no. I prefer, honestly, one of my favorite wrestlers on the independent scene rides a pogo stick. So, yeah. Anyway. So, yeah, let's just break it down with Laura. She's a former caseworker who was a child therapist and lost her daughter tragically in a drowning. Her daughter also had the same condition, or like Piper, was blind. And she's obviously, even though she'd worked for the placement service for 20 years, she wasn't working there now. But she was a foster parent. Yeah. And so Andy and Piper are sent to live with her. And we'll talk more about them when we get to them.
Yeah.
Although I feel, yeah.
I will say though, even like Laura notes go all the way to the very opening of the movie because there is this connection. where the way the movie opens is just some really creepy death cult like shit going on, and I was like, and then it cuts to like Piper waiting outside the bus stop. So I'm like, I'm sure we'll circle back to that at some point. And then we don't really get the in between as far as like how Laura got a hold of that, because I don't think she was like part of that back then. Like she wasn't involved or taking those videos or anything, because it seemed like she was watching those videos over and over to like learn. It was like they even had on the bottom like how to do things, mimic the death and then consume the body and then purge the soul. It was like,
oh my God.
It was like a, how to instruction manual brought to you by the Church of Satan or so. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was like very like, we're going to walk you through. It's a tutorial on YouTube.
Well, there's a website, blackangeltapes.net, that was kind of set up as like a tie-in website for this movie. And so people can check that out. I went and looked at it briefly. I did not dig too deep into it, but it does look like some dark web type site where you would get these tapes.
She gets to the end of that tape, and it's like before it ends, you just see like the person in the camera turn around and be like, and that's it. And now you've got a soul repossessed. You brought a loved one back, repossessing the body of another person. Make sure to hit like and subscribe and follow us for more tips on that.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. Somehow she found it and got a hold of it and decided she was going to experiment and try this herself. But we'll get to that. Just meeting her the first time, she seems interesting.
She seemed a bit eccentric to me, like peculiar maybe is a better word.
Which, I mean, I'll say it's an interesting like way to go about it, towards like who the person that definitely ends up being like the villain, the evil person. You're like, oh yeah, for sure. When you first meet her, it's like, oh, it's like the bubbliest, most colorful presentation she can possibly have while meeting her. But it seems that way, but like it's not fully like that, because you can pick up on things immediately when they meet. Like, she's so enamored with Piper. She's like focused on Piper. Oh my God, Piper, blah, blah, blah. And, oh, the boy, you're also here, whatever. Like, immediately just pushing him to the back burner, like not getting his name right at first, introducing him to Ollie as Anthony or something. And then even the picture that they took, like she's blocking his face. And it's just like, immediately you're just like, the only reason he's here is because they were a package deal and she wasn't going to give up on this opportunity. Because that's what they said, is like, she doesn't want to deal with a troubled, young man, a boy. She's had, issues with that. So she just wants the girl. And it's like, yeah, we're not splitting up.
No.
And Laura's not going to pass up on this opportunity of Piper because of that hang up. So she's like, fine, I'll take the teenage boy too, and I'll figure out a way to get rid of him, I guess. I'll figure it out. Improv.
I mean, Andy and Piper they're a package deal. Yeah. And we'll talk more about their dynamic later. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I was really put off with the way that Laura was acting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very cold towards Andy immediately, but like so obsessed with Piper. And then, just other things like that eccentricity, that, the taxidermied Pomeranian and a living cat, and chickens. And then she's, she mentions her daughter that was also blind, but drowned. And then I was like, well, there's probably a connection to the empty pool in the backyard. Got it. But then also there's the surprise boy, Ollie, in the pool. It's like, oh, okay, there's also him.
Yeah, a mute boy. Mm-hmm. Who is basically catatonic, honestly.
Yeah, and you just see, like, immediately, especially with Andy, is where you really see, like, something off with her. Because I was like, what is... And these notes are interesting, because this is all, like, as first watch, so it's going to be fun, like, because I had some, like, guesses and, like, predictions that ended up not being right, or, like, I would I'd like, no, it's not that, and it ended up being that, so... I'll go through them because you can just see my mental process through some of these things. But yeah, I was like, man, she's so nosy with Andy. And I was trying to figure out like why it was. But I think immediately her plan is I've got to split them up. Mm-hmm. And I know that like he's going to have full custody of her and guardianship after 3 months unless I can prove that he's not fit to do that. So I'm going to do everything I can to like antagonize him, but make it seem like it's gaslighting. Perfect. It's just like
absolute
gaslighting. She's like, what can I do to completely just like dismantle him without him realizing I'm doing it? But also making sure he doesn't like her. And it was like this thing. He was like, I can be absolutely horrible to him as long as it's in a way that Piper doesn't realize or doesn't, see.
It's manipulation to her.
Absolutely.
Like, she's manipulating Piper while gaslighting Andy.
Yeah, for sure.
All at the same time. And it's little ways, the little ways that she comes up with. Mm-hmm. And that's what I started to like realize as we were first getting into the movie. She's baiting him in different ways, but in this underhanded way that it wouldn't be as obvious.
Yeah. And it starts with just like while he's on the phone and being like, well, I'm a counselor, so I can tell you're defensive. What's on your phone? Blah, blah, blah. And it's like, he's a kid. It's like, yeah, he's 17, but like he's still a kid. He's a teenager who's like been through some trauma. And you're a complete stranger. Like, he doesn't have to fully open up and trust you immediately. Like, give him some space and give him some time. But instead, she, like, knows when he's vulnerable. So she can prey on that.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, pick at the little bit of trust that's not there. Not there at all, because she shouldn't have been prying through his phone while he was, like, this is not cool. It's like, yeah, he was rude about Oliver. But it's like, yeah, he's a strange kid. Even if you don't know what's going on, like... He's a kid that doesn't talk and has like, this like weird vacant stare in his eyes and this birthmark kind of thing. It looks like it is like, it's a weird kid. And so he's talking to his friend or whatever. And he's like joking about the first impression this kid gave off. Like,
he's a teenager.
Like, it's not a big deal. And it's private anyway. Like, you shouldn't be doing that. So.
Yeah. But she assessed it. I think she used her skills as a counselor, a therapist, to assess him and formulate a plan to remove him from the picture.
Yeah.
Basically. Literally. Get him out of the way. Because even throughout the movie, there were these different points that she checked in with Piper about, well, would you want to stay here with me? And Piper didn't want to, so she knew that she was going to have to do this.
Yeah.
She didn't get a choice.
And you see that, like, obsession with Piper. Like, you start seeing things creep in before you even know what's really going on, or you kind of have some guesses. It's set up, it's like she has ulterior motives that are not good. The way she's just creepily watching Piper sleep through the beads that are in the door frame. And, like, I was like, yeah, I do not like or trust this lady. She is bad news, giving me the heebie-jeebies, like, immediately. And so then when they cut to her watching the video of the death cult, and it's like, danger, Will Robinson, danger. Like, immediately, it's like, this is bad, get out, now.
Well, even when they go to the funeral for the kid's dad, and she is needling Andy, that he needs to go in and say goodbye and about the soul,
right? It's like,
not leaving the body. And
you are not that familiar with him, like, back off.
No.
Like, you don't know him like that. It's not your place.
And she convinces him to kiss him on his forehead, but then she wants him to kiss him on his lips. And
I still don't know what that was about.
I don't know what that was about either.
She's just, it's weird.
She kept saying that it was like custom, and I'm like, not in any custom
Who's
I've
custom?
ever. Yeah,
it was weird. And then, of course, like, then at the funeral, she, like, takes the lock of hair from their dad in the casket.
Oh my God.
So I was like, there's definitely some kind of evil ritualistic fuckery going on.
Yeah.
And I don't like it. And then I'm thinking, it's like, how long do they have? How long has it been? To where, like, I kind of, made this, like, note. I was like, I'm scared. I don't want this horror movie. I don't want it, because I already like Piper and Andy. And I just need the 3 months to be done already. Andy gets guardianship and they go away and the movie doesn't happen. Can we just do that? Like, I'm already invested enough to, like, I don't want anything bad to happen.
That is my fever dream of what really happened in this movie. It's not what happened. But it's what I wish had happened. It might have been a lot more boring of a movie, but
wouldn't have been a very good horror movie at all. But
no. But I would have been okay with it. But
I would have felt better in that moment. It's like, oh god, these fictional kids are okay.
Yeah, and honestly, it was the way that Billy Barrett and Sora Wong brought the characters to life. Like, you cared about them right from the beginning.
Yeah.
You could see that things had not been easy for them. Mm-hmm. And to watch this woman prey on them when they're grief-stricken, it just got worse and worse and worse. And the games and the gaslighting that she did to Andy, I figured, honestly, when he woke up that morning, and his room was just basically an afterthought.
Yeah.
When he woke up and it insinuated that he had wet the bed, basically, I knew it was her. Like, it had to be her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, again, it's like, I don't know what that was about.
I don't know how that
I've worked with
unfit.
Yeah, I mean, like, because especially like a 17-year-old, I guess there's a place, like, I don't want to get too into it, but like, I've worked with kids with like traumatic backgrounds and trauma stuff, and like, so I know that like bedwetting after a certain age, but that's even like 9, 10, 11. If it's a regular thing, not always, but it's something to look into, because a lot of it like can sometimes go hand in hand with abuse of different kinds, because there's like trauma that there's like is continuing.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, but I don't know how that translates to like a 17-year-old being like unfit for guardianship. Like, if anything, it just means like his trauma is continuing in some way. Like, something else is happening to him. So it's like,
I have to wonder if it was just her way to fuck with him.
Right.
And get him mentally and emotionally stressed, because he is a 17-year-old boy and he's wondering, why is this what is going on? Why is this happening? Like, why am I wetting the bed?
Yeah.
Because 17-year-old boy, I mean, hormones and everything, like, I just can't imagine. I mean, it would be incredibly stressful to be dealing with trying to figure out why it's happening, especially in the house of horrors that he and his sister are now in. Yeah.
And then, and you just see it more that, like, I was like, yeah, she's actively trying to drive a wedge between them, where it's like everything that Andy is experiencing is like the worst, but doing it in a way that, like you said, it's gaslighting and manipulation. Where on the other side of that coin, like, Piper is like in her dream home as far as like what could be after what they've been through.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Somebody who dotes on her and loves on her and gives her the attention that she needs and wants, and she's not, noticing what's going on with her brother, and because Laura's just that good that bad, whatever, either way, that like at doing it in the way that she does.
And because Andy is paying attention to everything, he's protective of his sister. And Laura just wants to, like, eliminate that relationship. She wants to eliminate their bond, their closeness, everything. And so she's digging at whatever she can. And the great opportunity comes when they talk about, they're in the car and they talk about what do you do for fun? I love that Piper said, kicks Andy in the balls. But Andy says, get drunk. Basically. He likes to get hammered. Yeah. And she uses that to get more information from him.
That she can use against him, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, while he's drunk. You talked about that scene. It's like, do I need to even go back over that? Yeah, but literally I was like, what the fuck is wrong with this woman? I was like, you wet this kid's pants with your piss? I'm like, that is disgusting. I was like, I feel like that should just like on principle be a prison sentence because of the level of, I don't even know what to call it. I was like, it's just, that's crossing so many lines in so many ways that I'm not even sure. And it's like, No.
And she did it at least twice.
Yeah.
We know she did it twice. I'm just, like, disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And I also think she was spiking his creatine powder.
Oh, yeah, for sure. There's a moment where I was like, there's something else going on, because, like, he seemed out of it. He was, like, even before he, like, fell and hit his head, like, there was something. I was like, yeah, she's, like, drugged him or something, like, making him, like, feel unstable. There's something that she's doing.
She was very quick to discover ways that she could push the situation and get what she wanted, which was ultimately Piper.
Mm-hmm.
Because Piper resembled her daughter.
Yeah.
Perfect replacement child. But it wasn't that cut and dry. It wasn't, I want Piper as a replacement daughter. Mm-hmm. No, I want Piper as literally a replacement daughter with my daughter's soul.
Yeah. I'm going to bring her back. Movie name. Mic drop. Thanks, Steve. No.
I don't think this is a Steve movie.
No, probably not. But yeah. And then, of course, we will talk about Piper and Andy and stuff. And then even Ollie. Because we will get to the big Andy and Ollie scene. Which, as I said, I think of Bob's Burgers. Because isn't that the twins, Andy and Ollie, in Bob's Burgers? I think so. And I was like, but not them. Different Andy and Ollie. But yeah, but after all of that went down, and then Laura and Piper get back home, and it's like, Andy's just like so fucked up in the head, because he's like, I don't know what happened. I was like, I'm feeding the kid a slice of cantaloupe, and next thing I know, he's like swallowing a knife and wriggling around on the ground in agony. I was like, I didn't do anything. What's going on? And then, of course, like, why'd you take him out of the room? Why did you do this? And it's like, again, the gaslighting is like making Andy feel like he did something wrong. And it's like, hang on a minute. Like, no, there should be some more explaining from you, because clearly something unsavory is going on when you have this boy locked in your bedroom. Like, let's get back to that. What's going on there?
Nothing good. Nothing good at all.
Don't go into my room. It's like, oh, the one where you have a child kidnapped and locked in there and can't escape? I don't think me breaking in there is the weird thing that's happening.
And we don't even know at that point that he's actually a kidnapped boy.
Yeah, like, right?
I just assumed he was another foster child.
Yeah, that's what it was kind of set up to feel like. We even have a note where it's like, and that's what it is. And then I had to go back as I'm compiling my notes and be like, that's what the lie was that we were told. Mm-hmm.
Many lies, Pake. There were so many lies. And many of my notes start with, Laura did this fucking thing. And whatever it was. Because she just did so many ridiculous things. Mm-hmm. I mean, after the situation with Andy and Ollie, when she and Piper get back and she's trying to get Ollie back on track, mm-hmm. I'm just like, I'm dying, because I'm watching this all play out when she's trying to take care of him, and they're playing Untouched by the Veronicas, which I've heard a million times, and I'm like, this song, I don't understand how this is, she cranks it up and to drown out the sounds that he's making, and I'm just like, wow, I'll never be able to listen to that song again without thinking of this. Oh, wonderful. God. Thank you for that memory.
Horrifying. That scene itself, we'll talk about, because that's in my Ollie notes. We'll get there. But yeah, and that's kind of, you see like what was going on with Ollie crossing that line. And so I did like that kind of, that shot of the zoom out of the house with the big white paint circle around the house. And I was like, well, there's some teacup vibes there.
You know what? I knew when Andy and Piper first pulled in, I saw that white line. I'm like, that's a salt line. I know it. This has got to be something to do with the demon. It's got to be a possession or some sort of, I'm not sure what, but we've seen enough of those shows or movies where like building a salt barrier comes into play that I noticed it right away.
Nice catch.
This is not good. This is not good. And then, like you, I loved that overhead shot where we got to see exactly how it looked from above.
All right, so here was my first predictions, guesses time. And I haven't looked at this since I think I took this note and then just threw it in here. So we'll see how close I was on things. So I'm just going to see, at this point in the movie, where my guesses lined up and how I did. Just trying to make predictions. So I'm going to make some guesses. Here's what I wrote. So Laura has at least the videos of the rituals, and it's a possession spell or something. She's trying to bring back the spirit of her dead daughter into a new body. All right. Here's where I was off a little bit, but maybe also because we didn't get a full explanation of the Oliver situation necessarily. She's calling him Ollie, which we learn is his nephew, or her nephew. What happened to Ollie? What happened to the real Oliver? I don't know. Because was that actually like the spirit of Oliver in her? But I don't think so, because she says it was like, I've already left the prediction thing, but I'll get back to it. Because now I'm just like, hang on, let me piece some things together. Because when she's talking to Piper, she says something about, I met this angel and the things it can do. And then the angel now lives inside Ollie. So it's actually a demon. So I think it's like Oliver is I ended up calling him the Soul Eater.
Oh.
And I feel like it's like a demon entity that possessed Connor, that sole purpose is the soul eating, consuming, taking the soul and then purging it into the new body. But also it has some kind of humanity, because when I'm jumping way ahead, because then when it sees the like missing poster, it decides I need to purge myself from this body and let Connor go back to being himself. So like, there's a whole other thing that we never got really revealed with his story that I'm curious about, but
yeah, me too. I wish we'd gotten more information. According to Wikipedia, which is all knowing all the time and 100% correct, which I'm not fact checking any of this, but in the recap that they posted on there, it says that Oliver is possessed by a demon called Tari, which Laura summoned through an amateur occult resurrection ritual learned from a Russian VHS tape.
So it's kind of this, why she chose the name Oliver was probably just because of this nephew that I guess is hopefully just living his own life somewhere else, and he's fine. The redhead. Let him just be okay.
I don't think there was enough room in the freezer for any other bodies, so...
No. So hopefully the real Oliver is totally fine. It has no idea what's going on. But... But yeah, so the Soul Eater, I ended up calling him, was, whatever demon was possessing Connor. But, so here was, like, the guess that I was wrong with, but this still would have been a cool thing. Where I thought, okay, so is Oliver the test subject, maybe with a different spirit, which kind of in a way, but he was also important. It's like, and then if she gets it perfected with him, then Piper is her planned vessel to get her daughter back. So almost like I was thinking, is Oliver like a test run to make sure the ritual works? And and then if it does, then she can do it with Piper. And then I had this thought, which then again, I was like, oh, she is blind. So that's even more. That's worse. Because I was like, if her daughter is as sweet and loving as she seems to have been in the videos, would she want to take the life of another innocent girl to live again? I was like, but of course, if Kathy is also blind, Laura can just not tell her that part and she won't. Like, what's the barriers of, like, feeling if you're in a different body or not? Like, because she made sure to, like, dress her up in the same way and do her hair the same way and put, like, her favorite clothes back on her. And almost in this way of, like, can I gaslight my own daughter into not knowing she's in a different body? Like, what? It's too many layers.
Yeah. It got a little bit confusing, but not in the way that it didn't give us all the info. It was just that we didn't have all the info all at once.
I think what it really was showcasing is that Laura, this was not something she did a lot.
Right.
Like, this was an amateur situation where she was so desperate that she was probably fucking the whole thing up. Like, even if it went the way she wanted it to, it probably wouldn't have gone right. Like, there would have been some other problem. Like, she really was not a pro at this. She was just winging it. And I think that's kind of why a lot of it seems so messy, is because it's not that the writers of the movie didn't think it through logically. It's like, it's probably just because Laura didn't think it through logically. So like, there's gonna be gaps and holes in her plan.
Absolutely.
And then, so then I mentioned Ollie, the real Ollie, because when she's watching the videos of her daughter with Piper, and then there's the little boy with the red hair in like the skeleton like suit, that he's like, Ollie, get out of the frame. And I was like, oh no. So I was like, that's the real Ollie. What happened to him? And then so I was like freaking out. But then I was like, but if the kid we're seeing isn't Oliver, and that's where I was like, so he's some random unfortunate orphaned boy that she has possession of. And then you come to find out, not even that. She literally kidnapped him and his parents are still looking for him. So that's great.
That whole reveal, as far as like who Ollie is, was just kind of a happenstance, quick little shot at first. And then you're like, oh. And that's when the whole realization, I think, for Andy, which we'll talk about, how important this was.
There's a lot of really cool things in this movie that are just you got to be paying attention. It's like somebody saying something and then it meaning something big later. Like, even we talked about the funeral scene, and when Laura's talking to Andy and she has that like little random thing is like, some people say that the soul actually still is in the body for several months. And so there's, maybe he's still in there. And that's when you realize, like, and then the things come together and you're like, oh, because Connor has only been missing for like not even 2 weeks, which means Kathy actually probably died a lot more recently than we thought. That's why she has the body. Like, some people might not know that her daughter even died. And she's just like trying to do this as quick as she can while the soul is still in the body, And
I don't know how she thought she was going to explain any of this away.
Right.
Didn't know how she thought she was going to get away with it.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't make any sense.
Yeah. And that's where I guess it's to the point is, like I said, like she's just winging it because she's desperate. So it was like, wasn't so heavily like covered in metaphor and stuff, but it was a great movie. I was like, what a movie. But it's like, because we've covered a lot of movies about grief. And I felt like this one also is as well, but it's not in the same vein as a lot of the other ones where there's a lot of metaphor and analogy and you really think about like what this represents or that. This was more of just like an in-your-face horror of grief by showing a version of it where it has fully consumed a person to the point of stopping at nothing, even hurting others to try to fix it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where it's just like, it's like fully consumed the person. And then I was like, I guess if you want to get into some like analogies and stuff, a lot of the eating away at a body and refill, like grief consumes it. I was like, there's some thematic stuff in there. There's some metaphors that are veiled a little bit that were in this movie, but it wasn't like super deep, but like enough to like, no, I see what they're getting at for sure. But it's just,
absolutely.
Instead of like pulling at your heartstrings and making you like, grief is a lot like that. Instead, it was like, you know how grief sucks? We're going to make it look way fucking worse.
It was visceral, like, just in your face, here it is. I wasn't expecting it. Again, I didn't know going into this exactly what we were getting, and honestly, I think it was better that way.
Yeah, for sure.
It was cool to, like, experience it without any, preconceptions, which is not always how I'll go into a movie. Like, usually I'll watch trailers. Like, I don't mind watching trailers. But with this one, I didn't. I just kind of was like, nope, I'm just going to watch it and see how it goes.
Yeah. And then you know me, I never watch trailers.
I know.
Because I love to go into things blind because then I'm very surprised. I like good stuff. Even to where, like, now at the time of us recording this, like the Mandalorian and Grogu, like, initial trailers have just dropped, and it's like people are sharing them, and I'm like, no, I'm not going to watch it. I don't need it. I'm going to go see the movie. I'm good. Leave it away from me. I don't want to know. More surprises, the better. But yeah, just kind of getting towards the end of like what she's doing. Andy's in the hospital. We'll get to that.
Oh my God. Yeah. I did catch a continuity error.
Oh yeah.
In that scene. Yeah. In the scene where he gets concussed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. We'll talk about it when we'll
get there. Okay, yeah. But yeah, her crossed finger promise to keep Piper out of the rain. I promise. Yeah, immediately followed by taking her out in the rain.
Yeah.
And then, like, you just see, like, she's so dead set on this now. It's, like, so set on getting her daughter back that... But I was like, in the current state... Which, again, because I was still at this point predicting that, like, Ollie was more of an experiment than part of the process. So I was like, well, if we look at how Ollie's doing right now, that's an indication I don't think it's going to go very well.
Yeah, no. Not at all. No.
But then learning, no, Oliver was supposed to be that way because he's not a human soul in a new body. He's a full-on demon. So, like...
Yeah.
Yeah, he's doing his job perfectly. But then, yeah, that like moment that it just like hits you in the heart where it's rough because Laura takes Piper into like that shed and asks her, you know, after Andy turns 18, are you just going to stay with me? And then he can leave. And then when she doesn't get the answer that she wants, you see this like change on her face. Like, well, I tried. I guess we're going to go with the extreme plan instead.
Yep. I mean, she's even dressing her in her clothes. Like she's giving...
Mm-hmm.
Piper some of Kathy's clothes.
Yeah.
Like a sweater that she likes, and even pulls her hair back the way that Kathy would wear her hair. And again, pushing Andy at the same time with a concussion and on some drug that we don't even know what it is. The night that she actually sprays his body spray on herself.
Yeah.
And goes in and punches Piper in the eye. I knew she was going to stop at nothing. She was diabolical.
Yeah, it was rough. Yeah, and then we see the body in the freezer, which like Piper is there for, but again, like she feels like something's wrong, but the answer she gets is it's meat, which... What a horrible like thing, but it's like again that like a foreshadowing is like, yeah, I mean, as far as Oliver and his purpose is concerned, yeah, that's what that is. But then of course I'm like trying to predict things. I was like, okay, so maybe the opposite of what I was thinking. There was a period of time I was like, are we going to put Piper in Kathy's body? I don't know. Like it seems.
Is it a body swap? Like Get Out?
I was like, I was like, what?
Yeah. I
don't have a clear idea of what's coming, but I know that it's going to be disturbing and I'm going to hate it, whatever it is. Like, in a way that, like, I was like, I'm going to be uncomfortable. But then, yeah, she's watching she's sitting there rubbing Ollie's head and, like, doing, like, this, like, yeah, like, it's almost like...
It's a circle.
Yeah, it's that circle that, like, grounds him, like, brings him into this, like, very, like... trance like state to like do what she needs him to do, that she has to kind of keep going back to. And so it was like it almost like under any other context, if you didn't know what was happening, you're like, oh, mother and son watching TV and she's like rubbing his scalp and keeping him calm, and then you're like, nope, it's way worse than that.
No. They love to sit and watch those movies with it to consume the old body and purge the new body, purge the soul into the new body, and it's all gruesome.
And that's because like the cult instructional video. And then I was like, okay, more guesses, more predictions, now that I have context of the instructional video. So yeah, this ritual of moving a soul from one body to the other. And then that's where I came back. I was like, oh yeah, Laura's lying about a body, like a soul staying in a body for months. So Kathy actually died more recent than we think. That her soul can still be removed, and then the body eaten, and then the soul purged into the new body, which would be Piper. And so that's when I was like, okay, Ollie is something else. Mm-hmm. He's a conduit to the ritual. And that's where I came up with a soul eater. Mm-hmm. The entity that eats one body and moves the soul to the other. And then that was like the big, like, mind-blowing realization, is as they're watching that video, and then it's showing Ollie watching that video, and me realizing that's what he is. And it chills. I'm like, oh, this is bad.
Yeah. I mean, and visibly watching him eat Kathy's body.
Mm-hmm.
That was not fun. Disgusting. Oh my God.
Yeah. So you mentioned the scene, Laura like hitting Piper and that whole thing. So that was the one that we were talking about earlier, where the note where I was just like, fuck this bitch. Which is like, I try not to say that usually, but I'm like, there's no other way. And so I think this is the scene we were talking about, is just like that whole sequence of the manipulating and gaslighting again, like Andy, like framing him, that like with the body spray, it's like, to where even Piper's like questioning, it's like, well, it smelled like you were in the room, I thought it was you. And this is her like big final push to get rid of Andy and keep him from being able to have any chance of guardianship of his sister. Where like, see, look, he's violent, and she got that confession.
Yeah,
she got the confession from him that like he had hit her once before because he felt overshadowed and overlooked, that his father was paying more attention to her than him, and he acted out because he was 8, and
kids do that.
Kids do stupid shit like that.
I did a lot of ridiculous things when I was a kid and didn't want to have a little sister.
Right, like. And so to hold that against him and be like, see, so you're doing it again. I'm giving her all the attention and love, and you feel overlooked. So you struck out at her again, and being able to manipulate Piper into believing that that is what happened, which is heartbreaking, absolutely horrible. And then just antagonizing him.
Yeah, Andy wants to leave.
Mm-hmm.
Wants Piper to go with him. He wants to get out of there because he knows something is wrong, but she has gotten him to be physical with her.
Yeah, and it's just picking and prodding, knowing the things to say, like, again, like making him feel that like he's being blamed and that Piper doesn't believe him, and then again bringing up the like revealing that his father was abusive to him in front of Piper, which is something he always had tried to keep hidden from her. And just like there's a lot that being thrown out in front of him, and keeps grabbing at him, and then, of course, like, throwing his phone and destroying it, which the reason that she does that to his phone is because even in all this that's going on between him and Laura and Piper, he's still, like, Andy was such a caring individual that he's looking out at, like, this bloody, half-dressed Ollie standing out in the rain and being like, there is something wrong with that kid, and I need to, like, he still has this like thought in mind to like try to take pictures of Ollie to be like, I need to show somebody what's going on because clearly this kid is being abused and there's a bad situation here in some way.
Yeah, I think his plan was to go straight to the office to tell Wendy, what was going on.
And so Laura, of course, didn't really think about that for some reason. I don't know, so she's like, now it's like, no, you can't have pictures. She would sneak into also when she was doing the other messed up stuff. She would go through, because Andy was like thoughtful enough to like take pictures of things going on around the house that he could use against her. So she'd sneak in there and delete the photos off of his phone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he and Piper were isolated because they didn't have any friends around there. Like there was no one. None of his friends were there. So he didn't have anyone to talk to about it.
Yeah.
He probably thought he was losing his mind.
And I have see the scene where after Ollie has like destroyed the house and then he's outside by the pool and then she draws him back in again where it's like, okay, it's showtime, we're about to get started. But I was like, this fucking movie is gonna make me scared of people drawing circles. Like it's the scene with her bloody arm on the like glass door, and I was like, and then him just like putting his head against it. I was like, okay, this is so creepy. But yeah, so like we're getting things started. While Piper is away at like her like sports thing, which was really cool. I don't know the name of that.
I liked that.
But cool.
It was an inclusive program.
Mm-hmm.
I liked it. I liked
cool.
how that they actually showed how she was playing the game while not being able to see.
Yeah.
I thought it was cool.
But yeah, so we have like this whole moment of like getting the ritual kind of started and having Ollie go in and start eating the body, and then she has Piper's phone and she's listening to Andy's voicemail and then is able to garner from that like, Wendy's on her way over to like make this check based on what Andy said. So as much as this movie is so dark and heavy, this scene, there was something darkly funny, hilarious almost to me, about Laura listening to this like heartfelt voicemail to his sister, like, which was really rough. But then following that up with her going like panic cleaning the house that this demon child just obliterated. Like, and it like this like music picks up and she's like trying to like clean everything up. And all I could think is like, oh shit, child services are coming. I need to clean up all the mess and food and blood. My poor possessed little scoundrels eating my other child in the freezer, and they're coming at the most unfortunate time.
It was crazy how she was running around trying to clean the house.
I know.
I'm like, you cannot clean up that mess. He obliterated that house.
Yeah.
And that's when she's pouring the creatine powder down the sink and she's sweeping up. I'm like, I'm sorry, lady. It would take a professional cleaning crew at least 48 hours to clean up this mess.
Right. And even if you can get it like somewhat cleaned, and it's like, what's with the hunks of table?
Oh, that.
What's going on there?
God.
Man. But yeah, so they show up, and then as soon as like Wendy walked through the front door, I just like paused the movie and then wrote in my notes, I'm going to assume in advance as she's walking in the front door, R.I.P. Wendy, the child services worker. I was like, she doesn't leave this house alive. I'm like, I've seen enough movies. I know how this goes.
I'm like, this is not going to end well. They are never going to get out of here. And it didn't end well.
And it's how, not the way that I expected it to happen. I figured she'd get mauled by Ollie, or like Laura would like surprise stab or slash her or something. But I was like, oh no, we're going full on vehicular manslaughter. That's a choice.
Yeah.
All right. But
yeah.
then, yeah, as you said, like, what does she think is like the outcome? Because I was like, okay, there is too much destruction at this point. Like, Wendy's dead. The cars are crashed in the front yard. Andy's dead now. And they know that Andy had mentioned that you had Connor. You're dodging questions about Piper's like well-being at her like sporting event. Like, people, you're acting weird. Like, you're putting all these targets on you. And so it's like, so even if everything goes to plan now as you want it, there is so much of a surrounding mess to clean up that it's a hell of a hole to climb out of. I don't know what you think you're going to do once you accomplish your goal. Like, that doesn't just make everything better. Like, you have left a wake behind you that, what are you supposed to do about that?
Yeah, it was such a mess. And watching her drown Andy the way it
was rough.
It broke my heart.
Mm-hmm.
Because I love, like, Piper especially was just this amazing kid, and all I could think of the whole time was her. She just lost her father. She just lost her brother. She doesn't even know that she's lost him yet. And how devastating that is. Like, she's just going to be destroyed. And then I kept thinking, well, I hope she gets to listen to that message that he left her, because that was just so heartfelt.
Yeah, which she does, which is good.
Yeah.
Man, yeah. And then just like, it gets so intense from there. Yeah, like dragging her out to the pool, and then remember the video was like mimic the death. And because I didn't know what that meant at first when watching the video. And then I was like, oh, yeah, the new body, this vessel has to die the same way that the person you're bringing back did. Is just like part of the ritual. So Kathy drowned in the pool, so you have to like empty the new vessel by in the same way.
Well, and I mean, this is more of a note about Piper, but I absolutely loved when they're talking in the bathroom and she asks her, you know, what's next? And she just basically says, I'm going to drown you. And she throws the thing at her face. That I cheered.
Yeah.
Because at that point, I was afraid Piper was not going to make it out. I really was convinced that
there's that point
was a goner.
Yeah, at the end where I'm like, what's going to happen? Because there's even a part I was like, okay, well, Andy's dead and Wendy's dead. And I was just like, Piper tried to get away and then she knocked herself out. And now I was like, what, is Ollie / Connor gonna swoop in and save the day somehow? And then once that became very clear, that's not gonna happen. And I'm like, it got real bleak. I was like, are we going to end this movie with just everyone that we love dying? And that's what it's going to be.
And sometimes that's how they end.
Yeah. And I was like, this is the first movie from these directors I've seen, so I don't know how bad they want to crush my hopes, dreams, in life. So we'll see how that goes.
Well, Piper was a fighter. Mm-hmm. Piper was a fighter. And we got to see that.
Yeah. But really, what ends up saving her kind of in the day, luckily enough, was Laura's own conscience. That's kind of what ends up stopping her. There's just this moment of being in the pool with another innocent girl drowning, and she's able to stop it this time. Because she's thinking back to finding her daughter, and it's just, there's that moment of resistance where she can't go through with it and ends up letting Piper go and kind of realizing, I think she has, not only that has like the weight of what she was doing finally hit her, but I think she also looking around at the destruction around her and realizing, okay, so we do this and I have Kathy back. Then what? What do I have? I've already created all of this damage. Mm-hmm. So then I go to prison and Kathy loses me. And then I was like, it's just this cycle.
It becomes a child in the system, basically, mm-hmm. in a system that she's been a part of this whole time, like as a caseworker and a counselor. So what is that really going to do? And also Piper yelling, "Mom." Mm. Like remembering that little thing just a little bit before where Laura had said, well, you could call me Mom sometime.
Smart. And yeah, so luckily like this like moment of, you know, humanity that like breaks through. And I think just Laura finally realizes it's not worth it. And
yeah,
like honestly, because you know, you're waiting for like, Andy's going to swoop back in and kill her, or this big thing's going to happen. And I think it's actually a really great creative like choice to instead have the villain of the movie realize that what they're doing is wrong and concede and just go, you know what? No, I can't do this anymore. This is not right. And it's not going to create what I want.
Well, and the end of this movie, I wasn't expecting it because honestly, I was expecting it to go wrong. I expected bad things to happen. Mm-hmm. I did.
There was so many like pieces because that was like, you know, even when Piper like is let go and Laura's kind of, just kind of giving up on that. I was like, well, there's still this boy who's packed to the brim with souls. He's ready to blow. Like, what's going to happen?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
I don't know.
I wasn't sure what would happen, but we were very lucky with that the ending went the way it did, because I've seen movies similar to this that end bad.
Yeah, for sure.
So
we've covered movies similar to this.
We have that end bad. So I was expecting something bad. So the fact that we get Piper surviving and we also get Connor, aka Ollie, coming back to himself.
Yeah.
That was probably the best ending we were going to get.
Yeah. After Andy's death. Like, the best ending is Andy is still alive and he gets to be with his sister. But, like, once he died, I was like, all right, well, I guess I'm going to have to let go of the hope of the good ending.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because Andy himself was a fighter. Despite being drugged and gaslit, he did everything he could possibly do.
Yeah.
He really did. He went back from the hospital after the concussion. Then he also went and got Wendy and went back because he cared. And he cared about Ollie.
Yeah.
Too, which we haven't talked about, which we have to talk about.
Yeah, we will definitely talk about him. Yeah. But that's like a big, we'll talk about Andy as well, which I guess I'm done with my Laura notes. So I think...
Yeah, I'm pretty much...
circle back to that.
Yeah. I think I am done with all of my Laura notes as well. I could not. I mean, literally, it was Laura doing batshit things all the time.
Yeah. It's a lot of driving the movie. But yeah, you did bring up a point. I don't even have a note about this, but like since you brought it up, I was like, honestly, that's a really good point that like, if we talk about Andy next and kind of just touch on a couple things that we haven't, I think the rest of these will be pretty quick just because fill in some gaps. But I didn't take a note about this, but like there is an arc to Andy of like really showing like how good of a person he was. Like we see that with his sister. But like, yeah, because it sets up when he's like talking to his friend on Snapchat or whatever and being like, yeah, Ollie's a fucking weirdo. But like, it's just like him like just being in an uncomfortable situation.
Right.
Because from that moment, you see him do nothing but like look out for Ollie and try his best to like help him and figure out what's going on. And he's worried about him. He really is.
Yeah. I mean, he said, well, you don't talk, but you need to meet me like part way. And so he's cutting up this melon and gives him paper to write something down, which on it he wrote the word bird. Yeah. Now, Andy doesn't see that at first.
Yeah, that was a reveal. That was another like kind of mind blowing. One of the biggest mind blowing moments were Ollie related, but yeah, I was just at that moment. I was like, bird. I was like, I don't get what that means. Almost
bird is the word, Pake.
Gave up on it until when Andy's sitting there at the like. It's not CPS in Australia. It's a different thing, but it's
right.
That version of it. You know,
right.
Whatever the Australian version is. But yeah, where he's sitting there and sees the missing poster for Connor Bird and recognize and like then I mean I was
it
like,
all
Bird.
hit.
Oh my god!
Yeah, exactly. But one of the grossest moments happened when he gave Ollie the melon. And Ollie kept the knife, and then when Andy turned back around and went, oh my god, chewing on the knife.
And I was trying to figure out like what that was about, like if it's like this demon trying to hurt the boy that he's in. But I don't think so. I think just part of whatever this demon is this insatiable hunger. That's what he's about. And so it's like Laura doesn't feed him because she knows if she does, it just starts
the cycle.
This like where he won't stop.
Yeah.
Like once he eats something, then he just continues eating and eating and eating until like, because that's just what he is. He is this devourer.
And she has showed him where the body was because he knew exactly where the body was.
Yeah.
Kathy's body was in that freezer. Like he knew what to consume. You can see the horror on Andy's face and he just gets him, it's going to take him in the car to go to the hospital. Yeah.
Because that scene is probably one of the most impactful. Because like I start that with, I was like, oh, Andy is like honestly being so sweet. I was like, he's trying to connect with his new foster brother, you know, in some way. And he's kind of making it a bit of a game. He's like, I'll get you a snack, but you're going to have to write and talk to me. You know, like, if you're not going to use your voice, if you can't speak, then write to me, but we are going to bond. We're going to connect. We're here for a little bit. Like, I'm going to reach out to you. I'm going to try to do. And honestly, I was like, that is the sweetest thing. And then that whole situation just goes completely fucking haywire.
But that's when you start to realize that whatever is going on inside Ollie, there's something else in there besides whatever the demon is. Like, there's something else there because as soon as Andy gets Ollie past the salt line, he goes into these convulsions, but he says, he visibly can be heard saying, help me.
Yeah, it's the first time we hear him speak in the movie. His first words is, yeah, help me. And that's because that's Connor speaking. You know, you said in the wiki there was a name for this demon. But then...
Tari, yeah.
Yeah. Again, the soul eater to me. And my notes. It's just part of him being this demon. This demon doesn't speak. That's why Ollie is mute. Is just because the demon doesn't speak. It has one purpose, to feed and purge. And so that's what the like line was about. Is at least Laura was smart enough to know that, because I feel like the demon can only exist within the barriers of that line. you have to draw that line around the property, or else if Ollie wanders off the property and he starts eating random neighbors, and then, like, you can't have that. So it's like there is this built-in protection of like, well, you draw the circle around, because if the demon crosses that line, the demon is purged out of the body and it returns back to the person that it was possessing.
Mm-hmm.
It can't exist outside of that circle. So, which sets up that big thing, but we'll get to Ollie.
Yeah.
But that whole sequence from the moment of hearing the chewing on the knife to when like the other car pulls up, like when like Ollie is convulsing and muttering, "Help me out there." The entire sequence, I was literally jaw dropped, just mouth open and like hand on my head, just like, what the fuck? Like, it was like,
exactly.
I was so just like caught off guard by that whole thing, where it was literally like, if you could have had like a video of me like reaction wise, I'm just like horror, like terror face, just like not moving for like 5 minutes, just
yeah. Yeah. That was rough. Incredibly rough. Yeah.
Yeah. But Andy, just kind of in general, if there's any other things to kind of go back on. And it's hard because like some things with like are him and Piper together, so I just
right. So I'm kind of waiting. Another. Yeah, there's a few things.
But like I think grapefruit, we hear grapefruit coming up between them. That had come up a couple times, and even before they even spell out what it is, which I don't think they actually really ever do.
They don't
fully explain what it is, but because like you said grapefruit. But it's like context clues. I knew the first time she said it when they're sitting in like the placement office. This is their code word to speak honestly. Tell the truth no matter what. If I ask you a question, you give me an answer, and I'm not sure you're telling the truth. No, grapefruit. I want you to be honest with me no matter what.
Yeah, well, the most heartbreaking time I heard grapefruit was when she went into, I think it was the bathroom, and Andy's body was in there, and he was dead.
Yeah.
And he didn't speak. And then she sits down, and she feels a body, and how she determined it was her brother was she was touching his face and then his mouth and felt his braces. And then she knew it was him. And I was just so upset for her. I'm like, there's no way he survived. My gosh, it would have been great if he did, but he didn't survive. And just to look at her face, though. We're talking about a girl, an actress, who's never acted in a movie before.
Yeah.
What she pulled off was incredible.
Yeah.
Just incredible.
I really hope to see her in more stuff, because just
me
what
too.
A phenomenal debut.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Yeah. And then Andy has this kind of running trauma trigger of the shower, to where he won't take a shower. He ends up like stripping down to his underwear and like showering in like the water faucet outside to just avoid. And it's understandably like a traumatic trigger at first, just because you're like, well, yeah, they found their dad's dead body in the shower, so that's going to be a trigger. And then even more information comes out where like his dad would turn the shower on to drown out the sound of him beating him. And it's like, there's a lot of trauma triggers there that like, for sure, that's understandable.
Yeah, he actually ends up getting concussed because he sees his father, which we'll talk about when we get to Ollie, because I think it's kind of connected in there.
Yeah, it was again the soul thing. When we get to Ollie. Yeah, he falls and hits his head, and that's where there's a continuity error. So you see him in the shower. Everything's fine. When he falls and hits his head and he's on the ground, he doesn't have braces anymore. Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't even notice.
And then he's in the hospital, and everything is the same. So it was a continuity error. I'm like, am I the only person that's noticing this? And then I read that no, it was like other people had noticed it.
I didn't notice it, but good catch.
Yeah.
Yeah. So going back, just other Andy notes. Yeah. It was like, as uncomfortable and creepy as everything had been in the movie up to the point. I could tell you I would never have imagined in a million years that the next scene would be Laura and the siblings having a drunk dance party to Timmy Trumpet.
Yeah.
I was just like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
Even the dog was getting in the party spirit.
Oh my God.
But, you got to keep just a little taste of the creepy going on in there with knowing Ollie was watching from outside at a point.
Yeah. That scene was, again, manipulation.
Mm-hmm.
Manipulation, gaslighting, faking interest to learn secrets to later use against him.
Yeah, that's where we got, that like heavy shit where Andy is just being open. It's like the one moment of like at least what he thinks is like a breakthrough of like a connection with Laura while she is fully manipulating and using it like she's not really connecting with him, but he thinks is learning about his father and how he would abuse Andy. And a lot of it was just because when Piper was in the picture, that she was just like the child that his dad always really wanted, and like all of his affection and care went towards her. And so Andy felt like an afterthought. And as a young kid, what do you do whenever you're not getting enough attention? Is you
act out.
You act out and you demand that attention. You're like, well, I'm going to do whatever I can to get the attention, whether it's good or bad. And so, it's just, and so we learn that about him, more information that can be used against him. I keep saying, he's like taking pictures of Oliver. Cause again, he's like just trying to like keep tabs and be like, if I have to take this to somebody, I need proof that like, it's not just me and my sister, but like, whoever this other kid is, like, he's not in a good place either. There's some weird stuff going on. Then like the shower thing, which again, it was Ollie that went in there, and I think it was just part of the plan. I think mixed with like him being drugged or something, because we hear it later with Ollie speaking in Andy's voice, where it's like, when these people died, because we saw him, he was fed the hair that she had gotten from the casket, which still it was part of the body. It was started like he can like store part of these souls in himself to use, because he uses Andy's voice to like lure in Piper. Which like, man, that's horrifying. So it was like part of the plan. Like Laura knew that would like, I don't know how she knew it would make him slip and concuss himself, but it was like,
no.
I think that was just like, she was like, I'm just going to really fuck with him one more way. Like this was a good way. And then it just, in her favor, she's like, oh, and it also puts him in the hospital where I can get him out of the house and out of the problem, like out of the situation. We can move him out. Then he goes to the like CPS office or whatever, the Australian equivalent, to speak to the caseworker, Wendy, about Laura, this new info about Connor now that he sees while he's waiting. And she doesn't really believe him. Again, as you mentioned, Laura was a counselor there for 20 years, and it's like, not Laura. She'd never, no, never her. Although she does her job, which is good, luckily, because Andy brings Connor into it. It's like, well, I have to do my job. I have to look in, even if it's bullshit, like, because I've unfortunately, not personally, but like with people I know and family members, I've had to see that kind of stupidity happen where like there have been false calls of like child protective stuff on people I know by slighted exes and stuff. And unfortunately, even if the caseworker knows it's bullshit,
they have to check it out.
They
it's
have
their job.
to look into it. They have to. And so it's like Wendy knows that, and it's like, all right, here we go. And I guess luckily she did, but also not really. It didn't really wind up good for much. And then after they're there, and R.I.P. Andy. Although I think still his actions were important.
Absolutely.
I think without him, I mean, things would have been even worse, because he goes and finds Ollie and Kathy's body and is able to get Wendy to see that before she died. But it was enough to like really knock Laura off of her balance to where like everything fell apart for her.
Yeah.
And of course, bringing the flyer to the house, which is what
helped
Ollie,
Connor,
this demon, sees, which leads to him, whatever is in him, deciding to let Connor free.
Yeah. Man, imagine being that kid and you're coming out of the fog and this is what you have to deal with. Your teeth are gone from eating a table.
Yeah. I mean, we'll get to Piper because I do have a few notes, but I mean, while you mention that, it's like, yeah, this Oliver thing, like notes that I have about him, because that's, as I mentioned, another one of just like the most heartbreaking moments to me is after the scene with Andy, when what happened, he gets pulled across that line at first, and then Laura has to like it hasn't been too long, she's able to like repossess and make sure the demon is centered again. But there's that moment that like he's laying there on the bed like screaming and who are you? Where am I? What? And then you just realize you're like, oh, what Andy did brought Connor back to the forefront. And so it's not Ollie laying there. What you are seeing is a terrified little boy that is in pain and has no idea where he is and what's going on. And that is devastating.
Yeah, exactly. And she gets him calmed down. But luckily for him, he was able to get out of the situation. The demon let him go and he crossed the salt line and the paramedics were there to help him.
Yeah. So yeah, Ollie was an interesting character, for sure. I mean, again, like the lie that we're given when we first see him is like, oh, he's under the foster care of Laura also, and it sounds like he's been there a bit before Kathy died, which ends up not being that long, I don't think, and he hasn't. He was so traumatized by the situation that he hasn't spoken since, and it's like, okay, but then you immediately, I mean, early see what's going on. There's the scene where he's like banging on the glass and then breaks the glass and walks through because he knows where the body is. He's trying to like go out there and it's locked. Literally the only note I had, because this was the first time we saw something really like messed up with him, all I could write in my notes was like, Ollie? Oliver? Buddy? Hey, little dude, what the fuck?
Yeah. He was obsessed with the cat.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He's hungry. He's a hungry boy. And the cat looks delicious.
Yeah, no. Yeah, no.
And then, yeah, because that's when you see this, because after he cuts his hand and then Laura finds him and then she's giving him a bath and cleaning him up. And then what she says is, she says, I know you're hungry. You just have to wait a little longer. And I was like, excuse me, what?
Well, at least Andy tried to feed him actual food. And you imagine that she's not feeding him what he wants to eat, but she's not feeding him anything. Mm. So that poor kid.
Just because knowing like once he starts eating, then it doesn't stop. He has to continue. And so like him getting that melon was what really kickstarted everything that happened after. But yeah, just like before knowing what was going on and what he was, when you just see this like skinny kid that cut his hand, like getting bathed and she's sitting there, I know you're hungry, but you have to wait. I'm like, what is happening? Like, this is what? And then it gets so much worse because then you see like, that's when you realize he's possessed by something and it's some kind of supernatural thing because he's like, his eyes are changing and his head's rolling back and like the water's turning on and glasses shatter. Like, it's like, okay. Something's wrong with Ollie.
Something's majorly wrong with Ollie.
Yeah. Man. And then, the bird reveal was crazy. And then, once he started eating, then, just starts this, like, spiral. Laura comes back home and I was like, oh, Ollie the Soul Eater is done waiting. Oops.
Yeah, the table. Big chunk taken out of the table.
He's just, like, destroyed everything in the fridge. Like, he's already got, like, over, like, that, like, the prosthetic, like, belly they put on Jonah. It probably was fun to, like, wear, but, where he's already just, like, distended from just, like, shoving everything that he can into himself. And then when Laura gets there, he's, like, almost to the point where he's like, I don't even see her as, like, the person running this ritual. It's, like, just more food. And then goes and, like, bites this chunk out of her arm.
Rips the piece of her hair out. Oh, my God.
I'm, like, watching all that, and I was like, honestly, any pain or fear that this woman experiences, she deserves it and more. So I only feel bad for Connor at this point.
Yeah. Go ahead. Bite her. Eat her.
Do it. And then, of course, after she locks herself in the room and he goes to the table, and then after that, I was like, okay, the kid eating himself. No,
Yeah.
I don't need that. No, thank you.
He's eating the table, then he's eating himself.
That was a little, like, I'm not going to ever say it's, like, a line too far.
Man.
Like, I'm not going to say they shouldn't have included it because it's a horror movie and it's meant to make you uncomfortable. But for me, watching that, I'm like, I don't need that. My eyes did not need to see that image today. Thank you very much.
There have been things in Yellow Jackets that have given me similar reactions.
Just like the, like, pulling on his arm and, like, the skin just, like, peeling up. And I'm like, I don't need that. I'm good. I'll pass. But then, yeah, again, just, like, the haphazardness of, like, this whole plan. Because, like, if he's supposed to eat a soul from a body, eat this body, and then purge that soul into a new body. One soul to one soul. But she's already fed him the hair from, like, so he's got, like, the dad. And then you can tell he has been chewing on Wendy and Andy since they've both been dead at the house. I'm like, this kid is just chock full of souls right now. Oops, all souls. Like, he's been a hungry boy. I was like, what kind of soul smoothie is going to end up coming out of him? Because it's like, he can't pick and choose what gets purged, right? So then I'm thinking is like, does it follow through? And then, like, instead of just Kathy coming up, does Piper get possessed by some kind of fucked up hodgepodge of all these different people in one? Like, what's going to happen? Like, things went off the rails.
You know, that just reminds me of the end of a Black Mirror episode where you just have too many things in your head.
Yeah. But, like, so I was like, even at this point, I think Laura fucked up bad, didn't she? I was like, I don't know the rules of this ritual, but I don't think he's supposed to have multiple souls in him at the time of purging. I don't think that's how that goes.
I don't think so either. And who knows what else could have wandered into the yard.
Right.
Okay.
She's also part chicken.
Potentially. Can you imagine? Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah. So then again, it was like then seeing these scenes where it's like the just absolute most gruesome, horrifying version of this demon in Ollie. That's where I was just like, my sweet little Theo from Sweet Tooth, what happened to you? But again, just like then gives me just like that, like so much respect for Jonah Wren Phillips, this young actor, to be like, what a range. I've seen you in two things and they could not be more different from each other.
Oh, man,
like,
definitely.
Man.
Yeah, it was a total flip side of characters.
Yeah. And then, we'll talk about Piper. I mean, when she gets away and these people in this car, we don't really see much from what comes from that, but do pick her up and she gets away to safety. And then Ollie, I'll, call him at this point, whatever this demon version, is looking at that missing poster for Connor that shows up. And I knew it would come back. Like when it falls out of the car and like flies by, I felt it was going to come back almost in this exact way. I was like, Ollie's going to see it and then have this moment of like knowing who he was and like that's going to affect something. Like I kind of saw that coming and it's not like it was like too predictable. It's just like I made a good guess and I was like, I'm glad that it did work out that way because whatever happens, this Ollie decides to cross over the line, needs to be purged and let Connor free. And then when the police show up and see Connor, he's been starved and he's injured and all these cuts and all these, and it's like, poor kid is in just rough shape, but he's alive. And he can I was like, there we go, Connor. It's like, that's what I hope for. Get that kid out of there. Get him some medical attention. Get him some therapy. And I hope things work out well for him.
Yeah. See, when I saw the poster go out of the car, I thought, yes, it's going to come back into play. But I thought that was going to be when I thought Laura was going to see it and realize that they knew. That Wendy knew.
Yeah.
And believed that Connor was there. And so she was going to kill Wendy. I mean, Wendy ended up dead anyway. But I thought that was going to be part of the catalyst for it. So I actually appreciate the way that they used it. Having it help get Connor back.
There's a lot of references in this movie that I wanted to make to another movie that we haven't covered yet that we need to very soon.
Really?
That's all I'll say.
Okay.
Because like it was like, oh, it was like in. We haven't covered that one yet. We're supposed to soon. We will, but
will we?
There were definitely some things I was like, oh, like, nope, haven't covered it yet. Can't reference it.
Okay.
But anybody who has seen it might know where I'm going with that.
I think I might know.
Yeah.
But I'm not 100% sure.
I'll confirm with you when we're done recording.
Okay. That sounds good.
Yeah. Last notes are just Piper, which I think we've covered a lot. That's just like, yeah, quick version. Unless you had more about Ollie.
No, that was everything I had. We've talked about it.
Yeah. Piper is just, I mean, when we meet her, this like blind girl wants to fit in, struggling with these issues of like, dealing with these other kids that are honestly just awful. But that's like the first time we see like Andy, her brother, is like trying to keep it as positive because she's like, they didn't like me. It's like, oh no, they totally liked you. As they're like sitting there making fun of her and being words that I won't say.
They're being teenage girls. Like it's just how it is.
Yeah. But he's like, no, it's totally fine. And then like we see that like he just keeps things positive for her the best he can, like to protect her from negative, which is not always a good thing. But as a brother, like, you feel like you gotta do sometimes. And then I mean it kicks off pretty hard. They come home from school and find their dad dead in the shower. And then like, I mean, it's been like a lot of trauma. I mean, Piper even mentions that he had been sick, that he had cancer or whatever, because she goes, well, he just finished his chemo and he was getting better. And which then makes me wonder, did Laura have something to do with that? Like, would she play? I was like,
well, I mean, we don't know how deep it goes.
Right.
You really don't know how deep it goes. But one thing that there were a couple things about that. They show scenes later that looked like Piper was trying to give him mouth to mouth.
Yeah.
And then they kind of alluded to Andy not helping. But it looked to me like her dad was already gone. Like,
yeah, I don't think there was a chance. By the time they found him, he was gone, long gone. But yeah, and then you get this heartbreaking idea of like they put it out there, but it's not really an issue for them. Although, I don't know, well, it would have been better for Andy, but not for Piper. But yeah, this idea of like breaking the siblings up, having them split up in the system. And I'm glad like they push back because it's like, no, we're going to talk this foster parent into taking us both. Even if Andy had this like trouble when he was young, it's like, no, because it happens too much.
Too
often. Siblings get split up because of situations, and it's, heartbreaking. And so it's not good for what ends up happening in the movie, but like, at least at that point in the movie, you're like, okay, they can stick together, like, because not everybody's as lucky. And then, thinking about Piper finding her brother, as you mentioned, but it's not only just finding her brother, but it's like that is two family members that she has found dead in the shower. And it's like, oh, this poor girl. Again, she's going to have shower trauma. Like, there's so much. Get Piper and Connor in therapy immediately.
I don't know how you come back from that.
Oh, man, yeah. But I did like this, like, the little moment, because there was this, like, thing of, like, the message that Andy got from his dad, quote unquote, in the shower, but, like, this thing that's in his head of, like, she's going to die in the rain. And every time that, like, really fucked up stuff starts happening, it's raining outside. And while he's in the hospital, it's raining outside, and he's, like, freaking out and everything. And I love the touch that, like, she gets in the car with the other people, and they're waiting there at the train crossing while the train's going by, and she's listening to that voicemail, and it stops raining. Mm-hmm. She made it. She's going to be okay. And then she looks up out the window to see her brother catching his plane to heaven. It's a very... Got a little emotional there. I was like, that's a really great way to land this one. That was, yeah.
Yeah. I think it ended as positively as it could.
Yeah.
So, as a whole, I really liked this one.
I did. I think I mentioned to you before we started recording. I don't think we were recording when I said it. It was like, I had a really great day today. Like, I was in a really good place, a really happy place. And so I had heard that this movie was heavy. And so there was like some trepidation about watching it and doing it. I was like, do I really want to do that to myself when I'm in such a great place? But like, I'm glad that I did, because as a horror movie, and just in general, like, I really enjoyed this one. It was very good.
Yeah, I'm glad that we covered it. Now I want to cover the other one.
Yeah.
Because I have opinions on that one as well since I've seen it. I love getting to talk about movies with you. Like, we have great conversations.
Mm-hmm.
The only problem is, when it's a movie that fits our genre, I have to wait. And that drives me crazy sometimes. Because I just want to talk to you about it. Like, I have all these thoughts in my head, and I just want to talk about it, and I can't. And so, sometimes, though, I go and see a Marvel movie. And so we do get to talk about that outside of this podcast.
Yeah.
But that is the only thing about doing this podcast that drives me crazy. It is that sometimes I just want to talk about it. Like 28 years later, I'm dying for us to cover it.
Still haven't had our conversation about that. Yeah, we will do that one. Hopefully this season. Just for those listening. Yeah,
that's the plan.
We're trying to put together timing with a possible guest for that episode. So that's why we're holding off on that one right now. But it will get done.
Yep. It's coming. You may have noticed they dedicated the movie to Harley Wallace. Well, Harley Wallace was not anyone that was involved with the movie directly. He was a close family friend of the Philippous. Mm-hmm. And Michael actually told The Hollywood Reporter that while he wasn't involved with the production, his unexpected death did change the way some of the scenes played out. So it did impact it a little bit, just probably, I mean, they were on production of this movie. They were doing this movie at the time. So it just may have affected how they were feeling about some of the scenes and wanted to do it a little bit differently because it was an unexpected death. And
good to know.
But that's really the only thing. I think we've covered it.
We did it. I thought this one might be a little shorter, but not really. This is just like longer movie or like longer episode season.
It is.
We really, whatever it was, maybe because we took like an extra week on break.
I don't know.
But we really want to talk about movies, and we came back with this new season just really wanting to talk more than we usually do.
I don't know what it is. I feel like all of our seasons, I mean, the episodes were shorter, but we still were having good conversations and having fun. But there's something about this season in particular that I've just been, I don't know. I'm really enjoying it even more than usual.
I don't know if it's the movies we're choosing this season or if it's just us being like, I just have a lot more to say. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it is, but I'm really excited about the episodes that we've done this season. So I can't wait to see what we do next.
Yeah. Oh, perfect timing. Speaking of like thoughts about movies we've done this season, I have some feedback on this one on the feedback phone. So
all right,
I'll go get that answered. All right, we do have a little bit of feedback this week, so we got to get into it. I'm excited to look at it. Of course, this first one, Tony's been coming in a week late on some stuff, giving us feedback like after listening to our coverage of a movie, which is also super cool, and we, just as good with that. So we'll let Daphne. I'm gonna let Daphne do this one. I'm gonna allow you.
You're gonna allow
to read this
me
one first. Yes.
Allow me to speak. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, oh kind leader. So this one is about Piranha. Tony says, when I was a kid, I begged my dad to stay up late to watch this movie, and it worked. Then I showed him what a big mistake it was by having nightmares. When the guy gets his feet eaten, gross. That scared me. It doesn't really hold up like it did when I was 7 years old, but I still think it's a pretty fun movie. The 2010 version is a lot of fun, too. Thanks for the trip down memory lane.
Awesome. I don't know, we might have to visit the newer-ish one at some point. Who knows?
Yeah, the newer-ish one, it's not like a shot-for-shot remake. It's got a different story. I think we should definitely do it. I'm interested in your take. There's definitely a part in it that it might make you cringe, even more than anything else. So...
we'll see. So you know the things that I don't like.
I do. And this one?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it will, but we may have to do it anyway.
Yeah. And speaking of some of those things that are hard for me to watch in these movies, we're going back to this week on Bring Her Back with some feedback from Catherine, who addresses exactly some of that. She says, that was the scariest movie I've watched all year. Self-mutilation scenes make my skin crawl, and I'm not sure I could handle a rewatch knowing what Andy goes through. I had a hard time not crying when he left the voicemail, and I definitely lost it at the end. Somehow I had the tiniest bit of empathy for Laura in that final scene. Grapefruit.
Oh, I will never think of Grapefruit in the same way after that movie. That is for sure.
Yeah, the scenes with, especially like Ollie, is like, oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. And then, so you had a hard time not crying when when you left the voicemail. And now that you've listened to this episode, yeah, me too.
Yep. Yeah, it was rough. Well, if you'd like to submit your feedback, you can find us on Facebook and Instagram at Run For Your Lives Podcast, or you can email us at runforyourlivespodcast@gmail.com. You can go to runforyourlivespodcast.com for all the links that you're ever going to need. If you're enjoying the show, tell your friends. We are available on all the podcast players, including Apple, Spotify, YouTube. If you feel so inclined, give us a review on Apple Podcasts, as that is the best way to share the love and get us out there even more. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely, we do. And of course, speaking of sharing the love, got to give those shout outs to things going on in the Podcastica universe around us and beyond. A lot of good stuff for you to check out this week. First, not a podcast that you can check out right now, but I mentioned it last week. Again, my other podcast, Strange Indeed. We will be back sooner than you know to cover the final season of Stranger Things. And if you are so inclined, the trailer for that final season has just dropped. And if you know me, you know I definitely did not watch it and will not watch it. But if you want to, you can do that. And it is out there. Get you pumped up, and then hopefully you'll join me and Rima for our coverage of that as it's running, coming up soon. Holidays also mean Stranger Things this year.
Yeah, I am definitely looking forward to having some Rima and Pake, Strange Indeed, in my ears. It's been way too long.
Yes, I'm excited to get to it. Of course, other stuff you can check out and listen to right now. Over on The Cast of Us, Lucy and Jason covered the season finale of season 3 of The Walking Dead, Daryl Dixon. So you can check that out, and then they're going right back into their Walking Dead rewatch after that. So a lot of good Walking Dead stuff to check out over on The Cast of Us for you. And then on Wax Episodic, Fallout Season 1 coverage continuing. They got Episode 5 out. Jason, Cassie, and Kara on that one, so you can go check that out. And then also, if you listened to our feedback section here last week, I mentioned Jason and Sean covering It, Welcome to Derry, being a Patreon exclusive. That is no longer the case, so that is going to be released on the Wax Episodic feed as well. They got lucky with HBO and managed to get some screeners, so they're getting early access to the episodes for themselves, so they can get some episodes out for publicity for you guys. So they figured we might as well, take advantage of the screener situation and really make the best of it for listeners to be able to listen in, since HBO gave them that kind of bump there. So, It, Welcome to Derry, will be available for you to listen to on Wax Episodic. I listened to their first episode. I loved the first episode of the show. Great show so far. Great coverage so far. So definitely check that out. And then there's a new podcast. So I know Wax Episodic was the newest podcast for a little bit, but we've got another one joining the Podcastica roster. So now the newest new podcast over on Podcastica is called They Did What? Just like that. If you don't say it like that, then it's not correct. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, the Podcastica diving into the world of true crime and things like that, where it's a big deal right now. A lot of true crime, like documentaries and like series that tell the stories of different things, even if they're not documentaries, but a lot of just true crime stuff is big right now. So Kelsey and Jen are running that, and they've got Jason joining them for the Netflix documentary series Unknown Number, The High School Catfish. That's where they're going to start. So you can check that out right now.
I've heard that's a really good documentary series. It's really twisted. And I haven't had a chance to watch it yet.
And then if you are a Great British Baking Show or Bake Off fan, of course, Baketastica, you can check out with Pastry Week this week with Wendy, Jamie, and Greg, giving you a little bit of levity in all the crazy times right now. Not even talking about world events, just Welcome to Dairy is out now, and that show's insane. So you might need something. You might just need a palate cleanser after watching the new episode of that.
Yes, I would agree. That was a lot to deal with.
Yes, but so good. So definitely check out the Great British Bake Off coverage over on Baketastica. And then, as I say, beyond Podcastica, we have some good friends with some other networks. So, of course, I got to shout out Pirate Core Entertainment with a lot of their stuff going on right now. What's On Tonight, also covering it, Welcome to Dairy. So you can check in with Becky and Mandy on their coverage over there. And because we talk about, they did such great coverage with The Pit, and they've been doing interviews and stuff over there, they've got another great interview that, well, I'm not going to give it away yet, but just stay tuned and you'll get another great one next week. So listen to that. Also, the Dinner for Her podcast has got a new episode for you. And so what better time than right now around Halloween to check out their new episode focusing on Mary Wollstonecraft Shelley, who is the author of Frankenstein, Mary Shelley, of course. I've never heard that middle name before.
No.
She's just always been Mary Shelley.
I know. But I saw that today when I was collecting information for our doc for feedback.
Interesting. Yeah. So definitely check out some, focused on, because that is a podcast, again, just kind of like important and interesting women in history and really breaking down a lot of that stuff. So something really different and cool for you to check out. Yeah, Mary Shelley. Halloween time. Also on Adrenaline Cinema, you can check out Jamie and Mark getting together to talk Friday the 13th. Of course, part 6, Jason Lives, is the coverage this week, so you can check that out. Just Halloween spookiness. It's that week. I mean, as you're listening to this right now, if you're listening on the day of release, it's Halloween, so it is October 31st. This is kind of our Halloween special for this year. It was. We didn't really realize it, but yeah, it is.
It snuck up on us this year.
It did. It really but I think we picked a good one just by accident for it.
It does remind me that we do need to do Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
We have not done any of those.
And then, of course, lastly, for Pirate Core Entertainment, you can check out the Panels to Pixels podcast, as Mark and Steve are getting together to cover Marvel Zombies. That's right, the full Marvel Zombies season coming out right around here for Halloween. It's a great time to check that out and watch that, and then listen to their coverage as well. So give all that a listen. Also, if you want more of me and Daphne, you can check out our other podcast, Buffalo Podcast. We get with our friends Jeff and Jerry and just have fun, goof around, make each other laugh, go talk, tell a bunch of ridiculous puns until we can make Jerry pass out or Daphne roll her eyes so far back in her head that she just gives up and leaves. One or the other. We'll see what happens. But no, we have a good time, play some fun games, and have some laughs. So come check that out as well. And then after you're done listening to all that great stuff, you can come back next Friday right here to Run for Your Lives, where we will have something else fun for you. What are we doing next week, Daphne?
You know what? We're playing a game. Or rather, I'm playing a game that Pake has come up with.
Ooh.
It's called the Movie Game. And I'm just going to leave it at that. It's a lot of fun. And I think you guys will enjoy it.
Yeah, something else. We've been throwing those in from time to time, just busy schedules and stuff, but we got to get an episode out for you, and we're going to make it fun. Even if we don't have time for a full movie coverage in a week, we've been finding some fun ways to do something cool and hope that you guys enjoy it. So there will be that for you next week.
Yeah. With that, we come to the end of another terrifying, brutal episode of Run for Your Lives. Thanks everyone for listening. I'm Daphne.
And I'm Pate.
And if you have to run, you better run for your lives.
Happy Halloween.